So what's up? We're back in quantum exchange. I trying
Good
to rig
morning,
out a lot
JJ.
of energy because we are feeling like the planetary downness or strong energy, We're a little bit down today, both of us, but we just go ahead and press record because we want to contribute and. So yeah, how are you doing?
I am doing fantastic, and I just
That's
want
it.
to add that we show up no matter what. No,
Yeah,
we show up no matter what. Whether we're happy or sad, we still show up. So that
beautiful.
counts. And before we started our recording, okay, first I want to give you the biggest news, which I don't know if you have heard. The Nobel Prize for Physics was
Uh-huh.
awarded to a person, a scientist, they have proven the quantum entanglement theory.
I didn't knew that.
It's so
Amazing.
amazing. And that
Okay.
and that I don't know if you know what quantum entanglement is,
I have a
but
notion, but a
okay.
vague one.
So
Uh,
before we used to think the light, the speed of light was the fastest thing in the universe,
mm-hmm.
and then nothing could go. Quantum entanglement is faster than that because it's instantaneous. The connectivity never ends.
Yeah.
But furthermore, I want you to explore this in your own time. This theory says that the universe doesn't exist unless there is an observer.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So I want you to go down that rabbit hole sometime and check it out. But the guy won a Nobel Prize on physics.
Okay.
On his
Absolutely amazing. Absolute beast.
amazing. Yes.
Yeah.
So as far as like we were, I was talking to you about the planetary alignments and all the radiation from the sun is causing this because we are like ascending to a new way of being.
Uh-huh.
Something that I noticed more people are trying to go
Within.
more than ever. Before people will try to find solutions outside themselves,
Mm-hmm.
but I've been noticing a big shift in people wanting to, I don't know if I want to say heal, but like connect with self. And I think that talks about the major shift that is coming. I mean, there's so many things happening.
Mm-hmm.
There is also this alliance, because we are a business podcast. I think I should mention this.
Yeah.
There is an alliance in between Russia, Saudi Arabia, Brazil, China, and one more, and India. And they are this, they together, there's 70% of the population of the world.
Wow.
They're creating the new currency that is backed up by gold. So once this currency launches, the dollar is going to crash. The dollar will stop being the number one currency in the world because these people hold 70% of the whole
Population.
world's population. So they're
Mm-hmm.
going to have a major impact. So this is something, maybe if you want to research it too, I think they're called, they have a abbreviation for their name. I can't recall it right now. It's like brats and it spells their name. But this is something that we should pay attention to
Yeah,
because
totally.
they're trying to get rid of the dollar because the dollar is not backed up by anything.
Uh-huh.
And here in the United States, the government just keep printing money, 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 money. That has no value. It's not backed up by anything. So
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to mention that to you too, because this is in the big news.
Totally. Very good.
But you were telling me that one of your things that you would like to do in this life is to create maybe an agency or an organization that can help people with lower or no resources to have
Healing.
some kind of counseling, right? Some kind of
More than
coaching.
counseling,
Mhm.
I will say healing. Because counseling, I think of it more something intellectual. Healing, it will be more of the soul and the spirit. Yeah.
Okay, I love the idea and I'm so aligned with it. And I wanted to mention that I was thinking about it exactly this morning, exactly the same thing. It's like we're
Wow.
so connected that we don't even
Synchronized.
know it, JJ. Because I was thinking like, how does a person that
Yeah,
is feeling suicidal, let's say,
for example.
because the suicide rates here in the United States are going up, and the age has dropped down to children. Children are saying they
Children,
want
what
to be
age?
dead,
Like from what
uh,
age?
like 10 and up.
Oh, God.
They want to kill themselves. They don't want to be alive anymore.
And by the way, it's not just suicidal. If you feel like strong negative emotions, that's something that
Mhm.
I will say that every single person in the world at any time in their lives, they have dealt with that.
Yes.
So this is for everyone.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
100%. And then what I'm saying is some of these people have no resources to get help.
Yeah.
And when we go into the internet to seek for help, the free help is not really help. It's just a hook
No.
for you, tell them to sell you something, eh?
Yeah, totally. And you know what's the hardest part? That is really, really, really tough to be a therapist or a healer or let's say a facilitator of growth, you know? Because all those words are even filled by ego. The healer saves
Right.
the patient, is
Right.
higher than the patient. All
Hmm.
that is full of ego too, because the ego
Hmm.
is very sneaky, you know? So that's the biggest issue. That's why a lot of times, for example, my partner sometimes says to me that sometimes something that she doesn't like about those motivational speakers is that
Hmm.
they do a lot of coaching, motivation, and all that. But a lot of people just hear it. It comes from one eye and then it goes out on the other eye, ear. I mean, so
Yeah.
the idea is that basically it's just an idea, but it is not transforming anything at all, and
Right.
it's not really touching the core heart and the soul and the spirit of the person. It's not transformative, and a lot of that is because the person that is giving the information, because at that level it's just information a lot of times,
Hmm.
is also with a lot of trauma, because the person just can do the best that they can do. They are not trying to make any harm consciously. If they make harm, it's because of unconsciousness. So when all those people just don't make any impact, is because they also are full of ego. Maybe they're thinking that they are trying to save the world, or that they are higher and the other people need the cure, and that I have the cure and you need to hear the cure for me, from
Right.
me. But actually, every single person internally has their own inner roadmap,
Yes.
and healing is something that only comes from within. But
Hmm.
curing is that thing that treats just the symptoms, like traditional medicine. But is something that is very full of ego. So that's why also I sometimes feel overwhelmed, because a lot of times see that I'm very getting caught up in my mind, in concepts, in ego. So what are the techniques that I need to learn to be a healer, to become a healer? And in that phrase, we have a lot of ego. First, techniques, because are full of concepts, and
Hmm.
is valuing more the external, that is the techniques, than the internal, that is a self, or being able to channel healing energy, or just being a facilitator of the internal process of the other person. And that's like the technique, but also being a healer is an identity, a role. When you
Hmm.
become a healer, you are fragmenting yourself. You are not a human, or more than that, you're not just beingness or consciousness or God, but you're a healer. And that's when also some issues appear. So everything that I say is just to help the audience realize that this is not something that is easy to find someone that is a true facilitator for transformation and growth. And that's a lot of the reason a lot of people doesn't believe in looking for help. uh, and that's why a lot of the society we see all these situations in which we are so lost because we are completely, well, not completely, but in a very huge degree in general, we are disconnected from that source that only comes from within, and that help that values the inner map of
Mhm.
each and every single person. So it's a problem, I will say, but that will be like something that we need to focus on. A problem doesn't mean that it's something that is hopeless. It's just something that we need to focus our attention on. And that's something that personally, for example, I feel that that's the mission of my life, to be able to facilitate, like seriously, it's like the thing that most motivates me to leave. Like what I feel that I want to do, to be able to facilitate that other people get those facilitators. Something like more meta, like being able
Uh-huh.
to organize a system of facilitators that are going to allow uh, more opportunities and access for people that lack a lot of opportunities to find true holistic integral healing for themselves and the people they love. Because for example, I recently I got a person that helped me with the cleaning of my apartment. I asked
Nice.
for her services and she was pretty good. But I'm also very amazed because I asked her, because I did it from a company that you pay the company and they bring you a person. So I asked her how much they pay you for the service. And she told me that basically they don't pay her per service, they pay her for the
So,
month, and
oh my
it's a
God.
salary of the equivalent of, like, literally it's like $150 per
A
month.
month? Oh
uh
my God.
so
That's terrible.
she told me that and I go like, mm. I mean, is so how she's going to find a mentor or how she's going to find like help.
Exactly.
And that's the person that has the drive to go out and find a job. A lot of people are completely demotivated in
Hmm.
those conditions. So it's not something to lose hope. It's just something to see a place in which we can contribute. So that's huge. I mean, and not going too far. For example, my partner, for her, it's really hard to take out money to pay a traditional psychologist, for example,
Oh,
because it's too expensive for her. So, and she is not in that situation, but still. So, in a lot of third world countries or in first world countries, but in places where the conditions are harder financially, um, there is less opportunities too.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
So
So,
you were
mhm.
saying before we started recording that you would like to focus on this, right? Because this will bring you joy, and this is what you feel is the purpose in your life. But at the same time, you feel you are not prepared or you are not in the right place. And I'm gonna
Yeah.
tell you that if we started doing, and this might sound funny, okay, but when the story of Jesus Christ is a story of a man that went out into the world and was telling everyone that you have power inside, that you can heal if you believe. If you remember his stories, he walked amongst the poor people, trying to give them hope and inspiration and telling them, touch me and you will be healed. The only reason, let's say this is not true, but in a story, that they were healed is because they believed they could.
Mm-hmm.
So, So in a way, what he came here to do is to empower us. And because of that is why he was killed. Because if we remember who we are, the power within us, the ability to heal ourselves, the ability to co-create our universe with nature, the ability to reconnect with nature, because civilization have said nature is not good. We have to kill it. We have to kill the trees to build new houses, new apartments so you're comfortable. We have moved away from nature and from our own nature, which is being in communion with the trees, with the water, blah, blah, blah. So
Mm-hmm.
if we were like to do, and I'm not saying we are godly or anything like that, I do believe that we are God in action.
Uh-huh.
But if we were to do the same thing that all the, especially in the story of Jesus, where I'm sure you know the story of Jesus, where he came down, he healed people, he revived people, all this stuff. And he kept saying the word, and then what we did, we killed him. Because what he was offering has no monetary gain for anybody. Because he
Yeah.
was telling people, you can heal yourself, you can do this, you can do that, you don't need anybody, you don't need anything. So if we were, this is something that
You
is
don't
the
need
new
fear.
human. You don't
Yeah.
need fear, you can go the path of love. Is if only you believe. So if we were to create a space where people with low resources and low uh, a low purchasing power, and we went in there and we empower them
Mm-hmm.
and make them realize who they are, and I think it'd be amazing. I
Yeah,
think we'll be
totally.
doing, I will be doing this divine celestial work that we all should be doing with each other. And in
Mm-hmm.
relation to you not feeling like you could help people, you're so wrong. Because if you notice the coaches, they're always in high vibe. Oh, life is beautiful. Blah, blah, blah. I make this. I made $50 million in 2 days. Blah, 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 blah. But they never show when they're down, when shit is going, always that. Oh, every day I'm empowered. I choose my day. But we know that some days we're not 100%. Nobody can be 100% every day. So if we show up our authentic self saying, I'm human, you're human, I'm here to support you. That's it. There is no guidance, there is no healing, there is no facilitator. It's you and me. I have this experience with life that I think it could help you if we got together. And by me sharing my story with you, that it's not gonna help you, but it's also gonna help me. So it's like a win-win situation.
Mm-hmm.
So creating a space where that could happen without having the conversation of currency, money, cash,
Mm-hmm.
that would be amazing, because people will feel like I have paid a lot of money in my life for all the shit that I got done. And at the
Mm-hmm.
end, I feel like they didn't give a shit about me. All they care about was my money.
Oh.
And when the money ran out, they
Mm-hmm.
stopped helping me. There was no more help. They didn't care if I was cured, healed, doing better. I ran out of money. There is no money, Sandra. Walk off. When you have more money, come back. That's been my
Yeah.
experience when I have asked for help. And I've been asking for help my whole life because of the emotions and the
Great.
shadows and all this stuff. I have
That's great.
never,
Asking for help. That's what we need
yeah.
to do. Uh-huh.
So, yes, you do get some help without, but not enough where you have a super breakthrough where people are going to support you and they're going to say, you know what? We're going to ensure that by the time you leave here, you're going to be able to stand on your own feet and you're going to be able to face life. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe we can mitigate the suicide rate and the feelings of, I want to die. And I think it'd be amazing, Jay.
Of course, that will be really
Mhm,
beautiful. The thing is
mhm.
that, yeah,
Okay,
uh,
give me the cons. Give me the cons.
yeah, that's totally true. I also believe, for example, I've been reading a lot about therapy, healing, and a
Mhm,
lot lately, and I also have a goal to finish 52 books, like hopefully in 4 to 5 months. It will be my goal.
Nice. I
Yeah.
love it.
But I already read some of them. I already read like 13. I have left like 40, 40 books, something like that. And are the books of a series of videos that I'm going to put in the description of a therapist that is a dear friend of mine that helped me a lot. It's
Nice.
called the playlist Inner Work Essentials. And each video corresponds to one book. And it's beautiful because that therapist is really focused on depth and not that much breadth of, but just really going very deep in what really means to heal, to do therapy, to do transformation, to have a spiritual emergency, for example, to do initiation, a lot of
Nice.
beautiful topics that will help you to do inner work. So, for example, I'm doing that, and a lot of times I realize that a lot of coaches and healers, or maybe not that much healers, because healers are very focused on the internal, but maybe
Mm-hmm.
psychologists or therapists, a lot of times, maybe more psychologists, are focused
Mm-hmm.
just on the coaching side. That is basically the advice
Right.
or the intellectual part. But I feel that beyond the intellectual, we have a lot of other areas of ourselves. We have mind, body, spirit, soul, emotions, energies. We have a lot of areas. Basically, mind, body, and energies. Maybe.
Yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
By marionette. That's what we are. By marionette energy. That's all we are. I love it. I love it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, basically like that. So if we focus just in one area of that, we are going to be fragmented. We are not going to
Mm-hmm.
feel whole. And a lot of times, just going something in the ideas are just treating the symptoms, but
Mm-hmm.
not the root cause. So there are a lot of things that we need to, for example, there are a lot of helpful tools. For example, bioenergetic therapies that use the body for healing, or the thing that we saw of family constellations therapies, regressional therapies, uh, therapies that uses like there is a technique of therapy that is called part therapies that believe or has the assumption that we are not just one personality, but the unity of a lot of sub personalities, like
Mm-hmm.
the hero, maybe the child, maybe the
Right.
trickster, maybe
Right.
the sexual addict, maybe the sinful guy, or maybe also the helper, the servant, and a lot of different ideas like that. So that therapy is based on voice dialogue, like allowing a very intuitive dialogue between those parts to create an integration of the personality. It's like a consensus, a loving
Mm-hmm.
embrace of all those parts,
Nice.
mediated through the self, that is the higher self, and all that. So, why I say that? Because it's really important not also to go like with the intention that is beautiful, but we also need the structure part. If we
Yes.
only have structure, it's also weak because we also need the love part. A lot of times I read that we could have the perfect technique, but and the patient 3 years and no change, and maybe
Oh
the
my God.
person,
That's
maybe
terrible.
maybe the person, that is a real story, that was a therapist that used therapeutic technique that is based on practice, not intellectual and all that. That is what I value, not that much an intellectual process, but a body based, spiritual based process. And he was doing it for 3 years, no change.
Oh
But
wow.
he learned about, well, a therapist that basically doesn't have that much rules, that you have to keep distance with the patients. Is a lot of to transmit respect, and I'm here and you're down. No, you can hug the patients, give the patients love, say the
Nice.
patients I
Nice.
love you. And
Yes.
she said that if she has an addict of smoking, for example, cigarettes. The patient says, well, I have this. She says, I love you. I believe that you can do it. See you in 2 weeks.
Nice.
In the end.
Nice.
And the patient comes back in 2 weeks and says, I didn't change the addiction. I'm the same. She just said, I love you, but from the heart. It's
That's so
okay.
nice.
You can do it.
Believes in you.
And then see you in 2 weeks. And it's going to get to a point that the patient feels so loved that, okay, I can do it. It starts, that thing ignites that fire within the soul of that patient that comes from within, and is the only way that transformation can happen. So that therapist heard about that and start hugging the patient and giving that
Nice.
patient love, the patient that
Yeah.
was 3 years no change. And after love, the patient was able to connect with that
Exactly.
healing within and got it.
Nice. Nice. I
So
love it. I love it. I
that's
adore it.
a beautiful illustration to show that sometimes structure is not what heals, it's just love and
L-
relateness and the way that you
Love
connect.
is
Mm-hmm.
all it is. If we could love ourselves, the
Mm-hmm.
world will be a different place. If we could truly have inner love, we
Uh,
wouldn't have no wars because we wouldn't be fighting with the other. We wouldn't be trying to impose our thoughts, our beliefs in other people. We'll be at peace with ourselves and we'll be at peace with everyone else. But the problem is, most of us don't love ourselves. That's
mm-hmm.
why we're envious, jealous, pointing the finger, blaming, because we're unhappy fuckers. And that's the
Yeah.
truth. But I adore, I just want to say love is the solution. Love is everything. Love is the great equalizer. I mean, if you dare to love somebody, no matter what, that person has to, you know what I mean?
To
Because if,
flourish.
yeah, because no matter what, you decide to love them, no matter what. That's hard though.
That's like the highest level of consciousness development, actually.
Oh yeah, I
Mm,
know.
is
I
a
know.
very high vibration. Is it
Yeah.
takes time, but yeah, it's very powerful. So
Mhm.
I believe that a balance between having that perspective that is love and the technique is not the only thing that matters, with the
Right.
other side of the coin that is very important also to know therapeutic and healing techniques like reiki, like family constellations, like parts work and so on, because all those have uh, an effect in a lot of people, maybe in this individual not, but it has helped. It's like the balance between feminine love and masculine structure
Right.
energies.
Hmm.
Is an integral approach to healing, because that's something that I believe that is really important, and we a lot of us has missing. That is, we a lot of times have the traditional medicine that we see that has a lot of fragmentation and very a lot of specialization, but not an
Hmm.
integral holistic approach. We see
Hmm.
more modalities of healing that are more integral, but a lot of times they dismiss the traditional because it's like a child that rebels against the father. A lot of
Right.
times goes like that. What we need to do is to transcend and include, to not rebel, but include what we've learned and transcend that, also including the opposite and being able to double check yourself always to see if you are in an extreme, because the ego is in the extremes. Being able to hold the tension of the opposites, having the traditional and the holistic, and giving an integral healing, that's
Hmm.
something that I feel that is going to serve the most. But that's something that is not simplistic. Life is simple, but there is also something that is simplistic, that is to over reduce reductionism. That's something that science does, for example.
Really?
Science is highly reductionistic, traditional science that reduce life into just the material and completely ignores the complexity of spirit, of mind, of
Hmm.
subjectivity. So The issue is not simplicity, it's reductionism,
Mhm.
reducing the essence and
Right.
fragmenting life.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And I think that's where we humans are. We've been so fragmented and we've been uh, decimated to our lowest uh,
Mm.
expression of life that we're suffocating. We want this expansion, we want this, but there is so much criticism, there is so much hate, and then if you are not well inside, you're gonna go like this. And there's so many people right now, they're suffering because the way they were born, their parents didn't love them, they got, I mean, there's so much suffering. So I think that me by myself, I have always been called to help the people that are left behind, the poor, the unwanted, the unloved.
Mm-hmm.
Not because I feel the okay, so then the coaches have said, "Oh, you don't help those people. Those people don't have money. Why would you wanna help people that are in down there?"
Mm-hmm.
So then now I feel bad. Now I want to help these people, but I'm supposed to be helping the people with money. So it doesn't work like that because we have to follow our heart.
Yeah.
And I feel so much better when I help somebody that is feeling terrible, that doesn't have
Opportunities.
resources, opportunities,
Mm-hmm.
and help them raise up and see how they change and transform and transmute, then have to help somebody that has all the means and everything. That person doesn't really need me. That person can hire somebody to extort all their money.
Yeah. I have something to say about it, but let's restart the call. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Amazing.
All right.
Oh, oh, we're back. Change. And so I found very interesting what you were saying. I was just thinking about, uh, yeah, you were saying about that it feels much more aligned, that idea of helping people that doesn't have the opportunities. A lot of people in coaching world say that, well, just you don't have to do it. And yeah, well, you don't have to do it. You shouldn't do it. Shouldn't do it is not true. You don't have to. That's true. You don't have to do it. It's just if it comes from the heart. That is the only way. But you know what? I'm also, because I'm trying to understand that we are integral beings and we have higher self, middle self, and lower self motivations. That's like motivations of the higher self, contribution of sharing love or helping humanity and changing the world and so on and so forth. That's higher self motivations, and that's beautiful. Yeah, that's higher self. We also have middle self motivation, that is survival, being able to have money, a house, travel, maybe family, maybe just whatever you want to do. But
Mhm.
those are also motivations and are an essential part of ourselves and cannot be uh, dissociated or negated or resisted, repressed. And also we have lower self motivations that are part of ourself, that are,
Mhm.
I have to prove my parents wrong, that I am really enough, or I'm going to
Oh,
show my ex that I was able
mhm.
to win X amount of dollars and to buy
Right.
that car, and she's going to see me in Instagram with that whip body that I got at the gym.
Mhm.
So, and that's also a part of ourselves. And if we leave it in the shadow, that is in dissociation, in repression, it's going to keep unconscious, and unconscious is going to be very is going to have a lot of energy that can explode like a ball, like a volcano in any time. So why I say that, because uh, I was thinking of maybe a structure in which we also, or I, or however the organization is going to work, to offer like a product or service for people that have a lot of money, and in that way we finance all the financial needs of the organization just by selling like 3 or 4 very expensive products for high-end people. That will be an ideal.
Okay.
For example, the guy that I did the mentorship, he offers one coaching for 50,000, 50 $3,000 per hour to very high end like guys that are very rich.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and he has a mansion and a lot of money. And how he gets to do that, he recognizes that are some people that will buy a very premium version of what he does. And he offers that. And he also recognizes that he has a part that wants to have money and is not something that necessarily goes against his desire to serve people. So he has that, but he also has lower offers for more usual people and also has a lot of free videos in YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So he sees that the purchasing power of people is not the same and he can leverage that different in a way.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that I was also thinking about. And also that people, that's something that he says, that people need to commit or to pay something that stings or is painful for them to really be able to change. Because, for example, he offers a boot camp that is based on social skills. And if he says someone average or someone that comes for a free event of him, he says, okay, go and talk to those strangers and ask for the number of those people or just make a connection. The person is going to say, no, no, maybe something like that happens. The person hits me in the face because I'm very weird or whatever. Uh, but if that person paid $3,000 for a boot camp for social skills and he goes with a group of people that each of one paid $3,000 and said, okay, now go and do that, the person is going to say, $3,000. Okay, let's go. Because the person like threw the hat over the fence. It's an idea like made a commitment, a financial commitment that is relatively painful for that person that acts like a burning fire within that person that propels the person to make action. So the same thing is for the people that doesn't have opportunities, but that the amount of money is going to be relative to the person. So a person that only earns $100 per month, you're not, or if we want to give that person an opportunity, we cannot ask for that person $3,000 because there's no way that that person is going to get that amount of money for self development. You know, a lot of
Yes.
those individuals also need food, like all of us. So, by the
Yes.
way, but if you give it for free, also that's the idea that a lot of people are just going to see that service as something that is less valuable just for being free, and they're not going to be as motivated. So that's also something that is an important idea that and maybe sometimes charities or people that help for free maybe don't have the impact that they may want because maybe it's just an idea because it's free, maybe it's not the best help, and the people that receive that help may have that in the unconscious. So, um, just trying out some ideas. What do you think?
Oh, I'm gonna definitely interject on this right now
Mm-hmm.
because I have taken plenty of free classes. And when I go to a class, I go because I feel like I can grow with it. So
Uh
I
huh.
I I personally wouldn't waste my valuable time watching some person talking if I'm not committed to do the work, whether I pay or don't pay. But this
Okay.
is just me, you know? And if they say jump in one foot for 10 minutes, I'll jump in one foot and I'll put the video up and I do it. They say go live, I go live, I do everything because this is for me, because I want it. I want it so much. So I do understand this reality because we have created this reality collectively where the narrative is, oh, People come to the free thing, but if you don't charge them, they're not going to do the work. No, it's
Mm-hmm.
the people that come to the free thing. Maybe they're just not ready to change. They say, "Oh yeah, I would like to do it," but when it comes down, because we know change is difficult,
Mm-hmm.
it entails that we engage the body, the mind, the energy, the soul to undo everything we know. So when we say, can we help people and not charge them? Of course, we can create a non-profit and ask all the big companies to give us money so we can provide a free service.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we could definitely do that. But how do we choose the people that we help? Will have to be through a questionnaire where we can find out their personalities, what they're willing to do. Is it worth the time for us to help people? Are these people worthy of help? Because not everybody that is down deserves help, because some people have bad intentions. But if
Yeah.
we
Not a
can
lot of people
create.
are ready for change.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So, but there's a lot of people that would
That
love
are.
to have an opportunity that somebody will give them a lending hand and
Yeah.
lift them up. So
Mm-hmm.
if we can concentrate on just those few people, not everyone, you know,
Yeah.
and I think that definitely when we finish here, we should have a conversation. But
Totally.
um, I think that if we like I have worked for corporations before where I screen people for their jobs. So I give them like a personality test. I give them a whole bunch of tests so that before they speak, I can see in paper what they answer. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to know whether this person is going to fit in to do this job, to do this assignment or not. And if they don't, I don't waste my time. I say, you know what? Thank you for coming. You're not a good match. Next time, bye. So if we were to create an intake form where people commit to the transformation, to understand that it's going to be painful, that it's going to hurt, it's not going to be oh, fluffy flowers and clouds. No, you're going to
Yeah.
cry.
Yep.
And you're going
Yep.
to release, and you might lose weight or give up your addictions. Maybe you get divorced because that's
Those
what they,
relationships. Yeah.
yes, because that's what you're calling for.
The dark
But
night of the soul is how they call like that period of transition. A lot of times the
yes,
period of transition is the hardest part. It is very dark. But
yes, yes,
always
yes,
after
yes,
the storm comes the rainbow or the
yes.
beautiful.
I mean, the nights are not endless. Like night ends and the sun comes up, it's a new day.
Yep.
So I think that we could do something really incredible. I know you've been talking about this since the day I met you. This is your passion. And doing anything other than this is a waste of your time and energy,
It
JJ.
feels like it feels
Yeah, because
like trying to go or use a car with the handbrake on. You know what I mean?
or wear shoes that are not your size.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know when the size are small and you're like, or when they're too big and the shoes are coming out, coming off.
Yeah.
So I want you to be true to yourself, and you're so young, so let go of the thinking that you should do this because this is your career, this is what you study. That doesn't matter. This is gonna help you create the other part that is your passion. And as
Mm-hmm.
far as certifications and nothing, you're already fully certified because you're a human being. You have suffering life. You
Uh-huh.
overcome. You're here. We're moving forward. We're pro expansion in spite of whatever is happening inside of us. I have given speeches in front of people where I had to cry because I couldn't hold in the pain that I was going through. And I said, I'm sorry, my eyes are crying, but everything is okay. And people say, wow, how you do that? So I want to help, I want to talk, I want to speak. And when I speak, sometimes my soul hurts and the tears come out. That
Mm.
doesn't make me less valuable or less of a person. It makes me human. It makes me that you can relate to me because you feel pain as well. So if we could create something where we feel comfortable helping people like that, I think it'd be amazing. I think it'd be amazing,
It would be
and I think
amazing.
and I think that you will
Um,
be a great I don't want to call you coach or facilitator. I think you'll be
facilitator. I like the word facilitator.
okay. And I think you'll be a great facilitator for other people to transcend, in their lives. The only thing is that you have to believe it.
Mm-hmm.
Until you believe it, then nothing will happen. But if I want to tell you, you changed my life. That's it. And and you haven't done nothing other than just showing up here for me every week. And I look
Oh,
forward to this every week. I'm gonna be with JJ. We're gonna have this conversation. We're gonna bring people in.
I love
We're
you.
going to. I love you too.
Mm-hmm.
And so these little things, these are the little things that make people's life better. Like I wasn't feeling good, and I said I have to feel good because we're doing the podcast. You know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I felt the
and I'm
same.
exactly. So
Mm-hmm.
without knowing, we're supporting each other, and we can do this for other people too. And what's the effort? Only the inner work. Oh, I don't want to do this today. I'm bombing. No, but I'm gonna do it because JJ and I are doing this together, and I want to show up for him, and then you show up for me, and then here we are doing this thing. And I think this is how, if life could work more like this, more cooperation and less competition,
Yeah,
it'd be so much
collaboration.
better. Collaboration, yeah.
Yeah, that's huge. The person that I do
Mhm.
coaching, the mentorship, says a lot about the competitive versus collaborative mindset.
Mhm.
And that moving from that is huge. It's
It's
very helpful.
huge.
It's like
It's
changing
huge.
from survival into being. Also, way of
Yes.
saying it.
hmm
Yeah.
I
And beyond
agree.
any concept is just have fun.
Yes, 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 because the purpose of life is only to live. We
Yeah.
don't have no purpose. We don't come here to be doctors or lawyers. That's all a human construct. We come here to live, to remember who we are in relationship to the sun, the earth, the trees, the animals. We're not superior. We are the same. But somehow in our mind, we have become idealistic that we're superior to animals because we can kill them, that we're better than the trees and insects because, but it's not
Mm.
true. It is
No.
so wrong. And civilization have taken away so much of the humanity in us because we don't give a shit about what we're killing when we're building new houses, when we're getting new fur coats and all this stuff. We have
We are so
desensitized
disconnected
ourselves.
with the environment.
Yeah,
We are
exactly.
so in our heads.
In our heads.
We don't
So
know where
this
we are. Uh,
this has a repercussion in not only ourselves but everything around. It's like a wave. So right now, uh, the earth is changing us. With the energy that the earth is changing everything. You see how now I don't know if climate change is real or not. Did we create it or is the earth? But
mhm.
there is a climate change.
Yep.
You know, there is the ice is melting here in Washington. It's sunny. It's supposed to be cold and rainy. It hasn't rained at all.
Oh shit.
So there is
Yeah.
the salmon production is facing problems. The rivers are low because there has been no rain. Uh, and then how do we deal with these things from a perspective of consumerism, or do we take responsibility for what is happening?
Yeah, and
So
I think that it starts that we are so disconnected with our own bodies. We do
yes,
not
yes,
inhabit
yes,
our
yes.
bodies. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly.
That is at
So I
the
think,
gate in which we connect with the world, our bodies. If not, we're
yes.
just floating heads, completely
hmm
disconnected with what is behind or below our necks. Yeah. Because
and
we
this
have
is
so much tension in our neck and our hearts
hmm
of
hmm
loss and the
yes,
inability to say our truth,
yes,
so
yes,
that energy cannot go down a lot of times.
hmm yes.
So that's why also bioenergetic work is very helpful, because there are a lot of move therapy in movement, in dance, and
Oh yeah.
release position and postures, and screaming, hitting, kicking, all those things. That's ideas of bioenergetic therapy. Is actually very simple. It's just expressing through the body
Yeah.
and releasing emotional blockages through movement.
Yes.
And all that really helps. But I think that I see in myself a lot of times we see that it's so simple that we dismiss it. At least I
Yes.
do. But
Yes.
actually, the key I think is to act. A lot of times, I feel that I'm a little bit like stagnant in my
Mm-hmm.
development. But
Mm-hmm.
it's as if someone said to me, "But have you done the simple things? The daily meditation, hitting the pillow, being able to cry, having moments of
Uh-huh.
solitude without distractions and internet and social media, and just talking with your higher self, like the basic practice." No, I'm not that constant with it. So, bro.
Right.
So
I
yeah,
agree.
that's huge. A lot of times we overcomplicate things.
Yes, yes.
Awesome. Yeah.
And we don't like the simple solutions. We want complicated ones. When I tell you to dance to get rid of your sadness and then you don't do it, but then you want to go and do something else, when if you dance
Yeah.
for 10 minutes, the sadness is gone. You cannot be sad when your body's moving, jumping, and you're focused
When you're singing.
on the touch.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, oh no, I don't want to do that. Okay, then you don't want to feel better. You
We're
shut the fuck
addicted to
up.
sadness, to
Do suffering.
pain,
Yeah.
to
Mm-hmm,
suffering,
mm-hmm.
to panic, to
Yes,
guilt,
to
to shame.
anxiety, all that. Yeah, the body becomes accustomed to the chemicals that we release when we're anxious, when we're depressed. And even though we don't want it, it's so accustomed to that we just deal with it, deal with it, deal with it, deal with it. And this is something like one of the things that I love the most about you is that I found you, we found each other, and you're young. And I feel like there is this hope for you where you can change and transcend your life right now. And by the time you're 30, which you will, I know you will, because this is why I'm in your life,
Oh,
you're gonna change and transform so many lives, you know?
yeah, God.
And instead of having to wait until you're 50, like me, that I've gone through all these things, all these addictions, all these horrible things to become who I am. I when I see you, I see hope. I see like this person can do right now all the things that I never had the opportunity to do when I was your age because I didn't
Hmm.
have what you have. I'm not you. But when I see you, there is so much potential. This is why I'm here with you.
But
This
actually,
is
you
why
too.
I.
You also have time. You
Oh
also
yeah,
have
yeah.
time and all that,
I'm
and
I'm
huge
not saying
potential.
I'm
Uh,
not saying I don't have time. I definitely have time, and I know this is the best life I have ever lived. I'm the most peaceful, the most
Beautiful.
rested, and I have another good 20, 30 years because in my family we live until we're 100. But to see
Amazing.
a
Uh,
young man like you
mm-hmm.
wanting to do all this stuff, I love it. I love it, and I feel honored to be next with you and to support
Oh,
you and
thank
to
you so
give
much.
you the space. If you need a space, I give you the space. If you want to be close, I'm close. I'm here for you. I have unconditional love for you.
Oh,
Yeah?
that's so
So
beautiful. Oh, thank
yeah.
you. Thanks, God.
So and like
I
that,
appreciate it.
we can do more stuff like this, you know. Even if
Mm-hmm.
we even if we did some therapy here on the podcast, we can create like a intake form if you are feeling somewhat and you want to get some therapy, you know, we can do it in the podcast and that could be
Mm-hmm.
free and you can do, you know, because you have a lot of knowledge. I know you don't want to admit it, but there is a lot of
Yeah.
knowledge in your little head. And so I think we could start doing some stuff if you wanted to, even in the podcast, you know, create something to see what people need, to see what people want, this the
Yeah.
desires. And if see if what we want to do is possible and if it's real, or it's just a figment of our imagination where we think people want
Uh,
this stuff that we want to do.
I'm convinced that a lot of people need it more than that.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Okay.
For sure, it will be good. Sometimes I just feel like maybe a little bit hesitant because I feel that I might mess people because
No.
those are very deep and strong energy, trauma energy, you know. But
when a person is
Maybe being careful.
yeah, when a person is in the bottom, you can't hurt them. They're already fucked up. They can only go up. There is no more going down. So
Okay.
and if we treat people from a perspective of kindness, compassion, and understanding they're a reflection of ourselves, how can we harm them? We harming them would be harming ourselves. I would never do that consciously, bring somebody into my life just to hurt them, because I know that whatever I do to that person, I'm doing to myself. And we are different people. That's why we are the quantum exchange. We're not the average human beings. We're superhuman. We're quantum beings.
And we are average too at the same time.
Exactly. We are everything. We're good, we're bad, we're up, we're down, we're rich, we're poor, we're everything. That's how I feel. Some days I have more money than others, but my life flows every day. And I'm happy. I'm happy that we're doing this. I think that we have a great message, and I'm thankful for everything we do together.
Okay, amazing. So yeah, I think that let's do
That's
it.
it.
Let's finish the podcast here, and we can talk a little bit about the specifics. Uh,
Okay.
so
So
for the
thanks to
audience,
everybody. Yes.
much love. If you're seeing
Yeah.
video, we are sending a lot of good vibes to you through video.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
beautiful. So much love. Have a
See you
beautiful day.
later.
Bye.
Bye bye.